Randy Orton possibly out of action till next year. Plus, we have an update on Sasha Banks' WWE status, and a former TNA star is confirmed for IMPACT Slammiversary. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Randall Keith was set to be a big part of the summer WWE main event scene. Not looking likely now as the snake-bit WWE roster continues to be affected. What have Fightful Select told us about Randy Orton, Andrew?
They have said Randy Orton has been dealing with a back injury for quite some time, to the point he actually had work done to improve his condition before the tag team unification match. We're told that things have gotten progressively worse, and WWE fears that Orton will be forced to undergo a surgery. WWE sources that we spoke to said that if that happens, Orton would likely be out of action for the rest of 2022. Thus far, the exact injury is unknown.
So Fightful also told that Randy Orton isn't factored into any creative plans for WWE at the moment. This is after he was slated to have a huge role over the summer. The plan was looking like we were going to see Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns headlining SummerSlam this year. And according to what Fightful are saying, all those plans have been scrapped, at least for the time being. Orton appeared on a recent internal injury report for the company, says Fightful, and he's been off television since his loss to the Usos on May the 20th. Now, Riddle has been moved into a title program with Roman Reigns that we're told was pitched for Randy Orton. Orton had been pitched and heavily figured into SummerSlam plans, as we said, which are now in question, to say the least. So we've got Riddle versus Roman Reigns tonight on SmackDown. In terms of what this will lead to, I presume now if Randy, and this is just sort of spitballing, I presume if Randy Orton isn't going to be part of SummerSlam, I guess we find a reason to get back to Riddle and Roman again. But then if he loses this one, he can't challenge again.
That's it. I feel like it's going to be a fake out finish. I think we're going to get possibly a DQ, some shenanigans happening that then help this roll over to SummerSlam and kind of fill in the creative plans that Randy Orton could potentially be missing out on. So
we think we'll have to sort of paint our way out of the corner a little bit.
I think so. I think, which is a shame because we get that quite often now, don't we? When a stipulation like this often rears its head in WWE, there is a finish that is questionable that then helps it roll over to another thing. But this is a legitimate sort of, thing that you're going to have to get around. And I think it'd be incredible for Riddle to be potentially one of the headliners for SummerSlam this year. He's been doing fantastic work so far. I think his diversity is really showing on the main roster. We saw it a little bit in NXT and in Evolve as well beforehand, but it's nice to see this sort of range from Riddle, which is, it's a shame that Orton's obviously out with this injury at the moment, but it's also to the advantage of Riddle in some ways to be able to express himself and be able to showcase himself as well on the main roster.
Where there is chaos, there is opportunity.
Yes, exactly.
Question marks over the status of Randy Orton. There are also question marks over the WWE status of Sasha Banks, not physically, but contractually. So Raj of Wrestling Inc. Broke the news yesterday that Sasha Banks had been released from her WWE contract. Fightful followed this up saying the claim, again unverified by us as of yet, were that Banks' lawyers were involved and there had been eyes on a physical WWE release. Andrew Zarian on the Mat Men podcast yesterday said, I cannot confirm she's been released. I did hear last week attorneys were working on getting that done. So we're not sure whether she's gone or not, but I can't imagine that there's any way to come back into the company from this point, at least in the short term. Yeah, I think she's almost definitely away one way or another.
I mean, the things seem to be pointing in that direction for sure. If you're getting attorneys and everything involved, I mean, she's expressed her sort of want to be released for a while now. She asked for a release in 2019, didn't get it, and as I was saying yesterday on the news, she's gone on the record as saying like, I'm not giving my 100%, and that's the thing. If she's not giving 100% now, like in the most recent matches she's been having, and it's very rare that if any time that we sit down and go, that was it. All right, Sasha Banks match. Like she puts everything into it. So if she does end up going somewhere else next and she puts 100% into whatever she's doing, then my goodness, that's a huge asset to wherever she ends up going.
Well, that's it. A lot of people sort of immediately going, what is Mercedes Building Society doing in the AEW zone, Michael? But there's also many that say that she's just going to miss out on the wrestling world and jump into acting, throw herself into Hollywood.
I think that's fair enough.
I think, there's, a lot of people, a non-wrestling people have said that there's potential for a Sasha Banks-led Mandalorian spin-off.
Which would be good. She was good. It felt like she was underutilized in The Mandalorian. She had little moments, but nothing meaty, nothing too meaty. So that would be pretty awesome to watch.
One to keep an eye on the situation with Sasha Banks. Eyes this Sunday, though, on IMPACT Slammiversary.
Oh.
We now know one of the mystery teammates for the IMPACT Originals as they're facing Honor No More. So we've got a team that is comprising of sort of like legacy TNA Impact guys. So Motor City Machine Guns and Frankie Kazarian. Who's joining them, Andrew?
Oh my God, Nick Aldis, otherwise known as in TNA as Magnus. He is joining the fray.
So Magnus rocked up at the Multiverse of Matches show. He teamed with Mickie James to face Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
But before that, obviously, he's a former TNA champion. He was Dixie Carter's chosen one. Was Magnus, formerly Oblivion from Gladiators. Nick loves it when I tell him about Oblivion from Gladiators. Love you, Nick. So I'm happy to see Nick getting a showcase here. Nick's great.
Me too. I'm liking how they're kind of leaning into the Impact TNA of old in this whole pay-per-view kind of thing. Now we see that there is another mystery partner to be announced. Who are we thinking? I saw Kazarian on there. What about Christopher Daniels?
Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels.
I was thinking maybe.
Well, if only somebody had put together a list of all the people that Impact themselves teased in the trailer video and whether or not they would turn up there. If only someone had done that. Shame.
You did that.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
You did do that. You did do that, Tom.
It's on the channel right now. In terms of what you said there about them leaning in to old TNA, boy howdy are they doing that. As I'm going to run through the cards and let's start with this one: the return of the Reverse Battle Royal.
Ooh-wee.
I am old enough and ugly enough, Andrew, to remember the first Reverse Battle Royal and everybody going, "What? This is rubbish! Fire Russo! Clap, 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 clap." But this time round, there is a feeling of get in, give us that nonsense, you cowards.
Sometimes it's nice, isn't it? Like the things you used to think were bollocks back in the day. You're like, oh my God, what is this? Like sometimes it's just nice to embrace it, isn't it?
Sometimes it's nice to, it's embrace it in a very fun, warm-hearted, ironic way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, give us a Reverse Battle Royal, you cowards. Also for Impact Slammiversary on Sunday, Ace Austin defending the X Division title against Speedball Mike Bailey, Kenny King, Trey Miguel, Jack Evans, and Alex Zane in an Ultimate X match.
That's going to be good. That's going to be very, very good.
Spicy. Briscoes and the Good Brothers for the Impact Tag Team titles. That'll be a good little knockabout, that'll be.
It will be, yeah. Who are we thinking for that one?
Oh, I think Briscoes.
Oh, I think Briscoes, but with Bullet Club and Jay White on the up and rise again. That's true. Part of me is like, oh, will they just get lots and lots of belts again?
That's a very good point, actually. The Impact Knockouts tag titles, the Influence taking on Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary, former rivals finding each other. Seems like they'll be able to coexist. They've been certainly doing so for the last couple of weeks, just about. Moose and Sami Callihan in a Monsters Ball match.
Yes.
Are they going to do the old school tradition of the Monsters Ball where they don't eat and drink for 24 hours beforehand? That was the original rule of the Monsters Ball match back in today. Queen of the Mountain for the first time. The Knockouts world champion Tasha Steelz puts it on the line in their reverse ladder match with extra steps. She faces Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, Maya Yim, and Jordan Grace. And in the main event, the Impact World title, Josh Alexander's putting it up against Eric Young.
Oh,
it's a good card, that.
It's stacked, that, isn't it?
Stacked card.
Looking forward to it.
Impact-based content on the channel, as we say. We take a temperature check of who could rock up. That means turn up in the UK. It's a Slammiversary based on who's in the trailer. Josh Alexander was my guest on Desert Island Graps this week. Had a chat with the Impact World Champion about his 3 favourite wrestling matches and live reactions for Slammiversary.
Really?
Doing live reactions.
Wow,
it's
nice.
Me and it's thee
that's
looking at
nice.
you on Sunday night. We're going to have a glass of wine and watch Slammiversary together. So you'll join us at youtube.com/cultaholic/live for Slammiversary based shenanigans. That's my weekend sorted. Anything you want to plug while we're here?
I think the next episode of Lost Wrestling Media may very well be up this weekend.
Get in!
I'm not going to say what it is because I like to leave it as a surprise so people can go and actually watch it. You know what I mean?
Warm your cockles for it by watching the first one, which was all about the lost Hulk Hogan Jake Roberts feud and the DDT that was not heard around the world.
No.
And it's his first series.
It
his
is.
first solo series,
is.
and it's flipping good.
Bless you. Thank you.
Flipping good.
Well, thank you.
Go watch it and see why. And we'll be back with more news later on. And the latest throughout the day can be found at cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you. Bye.